question number 51 on your final exam review is going to involve a little bit of work because it's a problem, it's a rational equation that we're solving, and when you're solving a rational equation, which means there's a variable in the denominator, you need to make sure that at the end of the problem that you don't give me an answer that would cause one of the denominators to become 0. So, as I'm looking at the problem, and I'm going to write it down on my paper here, and I'll bring you to the paper in a minute. One of the things I'm going to do as I'm writing it down to the paper is when I'm writing down the first part of the fraction, I've got 8 on top. X squared minus 4 I'm going to actually write as x plus 2 times x minus 2. My next term is 2 over the quantity x plus 2. The x plus 2 is already factored. And the last building or term we're going to write as x over the quantity x minus 2. So let me bring you with me to my paper, and I'm going to let you watch me work through this problem. Now, again, what you need to remember here, at the end of this problem, you're going to need to remember to check answers. You do not want any of your answers to allow the denominator to become 0. So, what we're going to do to start this is I'm going to take this entire equation and multiply it through by the LCD. And the LCD here would be x plus 2 times x minus 2. And I'm going to multiply this by it, as well as this, as well as this. When I multiply these together, everything cancels except for the 8. When I multiply the next part together, when I multiply this by the LCD, the x plus 2's cancel, leaving me with 2 times x minus 2. And when I multiply this expression by this LCD, the x minus 2's cancel, leaving me with x times x plus 2. I continue distributing, so I have 8 plus 2x minus 4 is equal to x squared plus 2x. I collect like terms on this side, which will give me 4 plus 2x is equal to x squared plus 2x. I see that I have a quadratic equation, so what I need to do for that quadratic equation is I need to put it in standard form. I'm going to keep the lead term positive, so I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides of the equation as well as 2x. And when I do, this left-hand side becomes 0. We have our equal sign, and we have x squared minus 4. We notice that x squared minus 4 factors as x plus 2 times x minus 2. It's the difference of two perfect squares. Either x plus 2 is equal to 0 or x minus 2 is equal to 0. In this case, x is negative 2, and in this case, x is positive 2. So these seem to be our answers to the problem. But we have issues. Look what happens. Negative 2 can't be my answer, because if I went back to my original equation and I put negative 2 into this denominator or this denominator, it would make it become 0, and that's not allowed. So I cannot use this answer. And we also run into a problem with positive 2. If I put positive 2 into the original problem in this denominator, this becomes 0, and so does this. So we have problems with both of these answers. So sad but true, after all this work we did in this problem, the two possible answers both fail. Therefore, what you would put as your solution set to this equation, solution set is what I mean by SS, is you would put the empty set, and some of you have also been taught to write no solution. So one of the things I want you to remember when you're checking or when you're solving an equation that starts off with variables in the denominator is make sure at the end of the problem that you check those answers. And what you really need to check for is to make sure that neither of the answers or answer, sometimes there's just one, will cause a denominator to become 0.